All right, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm tired, I'm hungry, and a little bit lightheaded. We're going to have one hell of a show.
Happy Thursday! Welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I'm Anthony Totri, joined, as always, by my partner in crime, the man with no facial hair, the man known as Erik Rubis. Of course, we have Captain Redbeard behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. Guys, do us a solid. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. I mean, come on. Come on, Erik. I mean, he's just gone a minute and a half in. Come on. I feel like that one wasn't that bad. That one wasn't horrible.
It is pretty bad.
It could be worse.
Also, I want it on the record, I don't do any crime. I'm not your partner in crime. I don't do any crime. I'm a law-abiding citizen.
A law-abiding citizen?
Yes.
I know of a law or two that you've broken.
You do not.
I do. I'm not gonna air out your dirty laundry here, but you know,
No, please.
just know that
Put me
I
on
do.
blast.
Know that I do. Look, today we're changing things up just a little bit. Normally, we obviously focus in on the Arizona State Sun Devils as a whole. And don't get me wrong, we love doing that, but we're gonna zoom out, take a look at the conference as a whole, because there have been some drastic changes across the conference. Some big-time teams going through some big-time changes, adding some big-time players, and some really key players announcing that they're going to stay put at their respective schools. So for the entirety of today's show, I'd love to get everybody's thoughts in the comments on what you think some of the big moves going on in the Big 12 are. But we're just going to count down from 10 to 1 the most impactful moves that have been made so far in the Big 12 this offseason. You ready?
Dude, no.
You're not ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
What's it going to take?
Food and an apology.
There's Circle K snacks over there. Okay, I will not apologize.
I know you
That is
won't.
not a bad nickname.
And so the
You could have
show's
had
not
a
going
worse-
on.
You could have had a worse nickname.
I've had worse nicknames.
Jose Perez is worse.
Yeah.
Chicken Little's worse.
No.
Jose Perez is worse because of what it implies.
Yeah, but like people don't even realize that anymore. They just look at me and they're saying, "Why are you calling
But
the
it
dude
cuts
that
the-
pale Jose Perez?" Like it's more confusing. I feel like to people now.
The blind mouse. I forgot about the
Blind
blind
mouse
mouse.
is great.
Blind mouses are.
Blind mouse is
What's your
great.
favorite one?
My
Professor Oates.
I think Professor Oates and Rubis. I mean, Rubis is good.
Rubis is just
Rubis is good.
Rubik's cube. It's
Ooh,
what
Rubik's-
it is.
Rubik's cube is
what
nice.
it is.
Let's talk
You don't
football.
like Venus?
No.
Thank you.
I was about to
love
say-
that.
I was about to say
I
something.
didn't say it today.
I was about to look Kyle in the eye and say something I was not allowed to say anymore.
Would just like to say that I was not the one that put that out there, but we're all ready. We're all ready to go. Countdown from the top 10 here. We got JJB in the chat, Sharon in the chat as well. Let's go ahead, kick things off with number 10, and that is Idaho wide receiver Jordyn Dwyer transferring to TCU. TCU losing some key guys this past offseason over the course of the last month and change. You know, not necessarily the greatest year offensively for the Horned Frogs, but adding a guy in Dwyer that can be a true number one wide receiver. Last year at Idaho, 78 catches, almost 1,200 receiving yards, and 12 touchdowns. I know it is not, an SEC school. I know it's not anything crazy, but putting up those kind of numbers in one season at the college level, I mean, averaging 15 yards per reception is just wild. Doesn't really matter who they have at quarterback for TCU. You got your guy. He's going to be a junior this coming season, 6 foot, $195. And this year, interesting in 2024, really had a jump statistically, right? The years prior, 2023, 19 catches for 323 yards, 4 touchdowns. 2020, 12 catches, $136, 2 touchdowns. Regardless, 18 total touchdowns through 3 years of college production. He is set to have a really, really nice year in the Big 12 this coming season.
Yeah, I don't think that you walk into conversation for best wide receiver in the Big 12,
No.
but I think you certainly are in the conversation of one of the most dangerous.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you go against TCU now, like, listen, 1,192 yards on any collegiate level. Like, I get it. Like, the lower you go down, it's technically easier, right? That you don't do that unless you're a weapon.
Yeah.
Right? You don't do that unless you have a skill that's going to translate over to the Big 12. And we've seen it with ASU, so why should we discount it for other teams? Because I think some people will look at, he played for the Idaho Vandals, right? Like, who really cares? I think
people in Idaho care.
Well, I think you have to look at it in the fact that college football is full of hidden gems and talent, or talent that's really good but not on a big stage. And Arizona State's good at finding those.
Yeah.
You have to imagine it's not that hard to find the guy who had 78 receptions, 1,192 yards. He won't do that in the Big 12, but he'll be damn good. This will be not somebody that we compare Jordyn Tyson to, I don't think, but definitely somebody who's probably going to be like that one ring below of like, okay, this is still one of the upper echelon wide receivers in the Big 12, just based off of what he's already been able to do on a collegiate level.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. I don't think Jordan Dwyer is going to be a guy that we're talking about at the end of the season in the Biletnikoff conversation for best receiver in the country. But I think when we're talking about getting a true number one wide receiver, which for TCU is, last year was a really, really down year. The year prior to that was a really, really down year when you go and look back at where this program was just a couple of seasons ago, right? This is a team literally in the championship game, right? And I know it obviously didn't go their way against Georgia, but that team was littered with weapons, right? You talk about a guy like a Quinten Johnston, who I know has not had the career in the NFL that Horned Frog fans would probably like to see, but he was a first-round pick, right? He was that type of wide receiver. I'm not saying Dwyer is going to be that type of wide receiver, but I'm saying he can be a true one at TCU. And you can't be a top 25 team realistically without a true number one wide receiver. TCU, they got theirs. You ready for number 9?
Yeah, let's do it.
Number 9, look, the Big 12 is a running back conference. One team out with Taj Brooks, in with Quinten Joyner. USC running back Quinten Joyner transferring to the Texas Tech Red Raiders. For me, that is move number 9 in the conference. Joyner this past season, not numbers that are going to blow you away, right? But he was a Big Ten running back, 63 carries, 478 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns, 12 receptions, 89 receiving yards, and a touchdown as well. I figure he is set to be the lead workhorse at Texas Tech. Of course, you saw what Taj Brooks was, the type of player and the type of running back and the impact that he had in Lubbock. I think, Joyner can come in here and maybe not have a Taj Brooks level impact right away, but he can have an impact that makes it so you don't really miss too much with Taj Brooks leaving.
Yeah, you're gonna miss Taj Brooks in a lesser sense, the same way you're going to miss Cam Skattebo, right? Like when you have an all Big 12 back, like one of the best backs that are in the country. Yeah. Right. It's going to be tough to replace, but Joyner has some high-level speed. He could turn the burners on for sure. That is going to be a pretty fun tool for them to have. I don't expect him to be a Taj Brooks, but just because, like, you look at his stats, right? Like you mentioned, like not the greatest stats in the world, 63 carries.
Not bad though for a guy that wasn't a lead running
yards.
back.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns. Like that's a really good, this is the kind of guy that you're going to look in his year in, year out, and it feels like next season you're going to be like, oh wow, he went from 478 yards
to like
rushing
1,100,
to like 1,100, 1,200 yards. So a lot of that is going to hinge on if Tech's line can be as good this year. But yeah, I mean, he could be big. He's not like super small, 5'11", 216. Yeah. He could power through some people. He's got some speed to him, straight line speed as well. USC employed him in some trick plays and whatnot. So, it's not somebody that, again, like we're talking about 9 and 10 here. Yeah. I'm not sitting back and losing sleep over Quinten Joyner, but you'd be blind to say that he doesn't at least help them get past losing Taj Brooks.
Yeah, I don't think any of the moves that we go through from 10 to probably 5 are moves that are going to move a team into a conference championship game. But I think they're, big roster moves, whether that be because they're great players or whether because, they're replacing somebody that was a key contributor this past season. And again, I feel like looking at Joyner, this is a guy that is going to be able to help a Texas Tech offense that lost a lot of key weapons, right? You lost to Taj Brooks. You lost your quarterback. You lost Jalen Conyers. Like, you are going to need to fill that void, and I think Joyner does that. And it's not like you're getting a guy from an FCS school. You're getting a guy that played football in the Big Ten, going up against Penn State and Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan, etc.
And look good at times, too. Like not a bum. Right, you're not just saying, "Oh, you're going from Big Ten." Like, not a bum. Like, good stats for a running back too against good competition.
Yeah,
good move.
Totally agree. Number 8 on the list. If you're an Arizona State fan, shield your eyes here, because Texas State running back Ismail Mahdi to Arizona. That is the number 8 move so far in the offseason for me in this conference. We watched Ismail Mahdi against Arizona State. We did a week of prep on Ismail Mahdi on what he's looked like over his college career. Erik, this guy, I think, can be a top 3 running back in this conference.
He's really good. I hate how much I love this move.
Yeah.
For Arizona. Like, this is a back that's going to, you say top 3 in the conference?
Whew. I think he can be.
I mean,
I think he would have been a top 5 back last year.
Harvey's gone.
Taj Neal's
Brooks
gone.
is gone.
Taj is
Devon
gone.
is gone. Cam Skattebo's gone.
DJ Giddens is gone. All the major backs are gone.
Yeah, you lost like 5.
You lost
your
the
5
top
best
5,
backs.
6 backs.
I didn't even think about.
That's why the NFL. That's why the NFL. Literally, look, count this out for me. RJ Harvey.
1.
Gone. UCF. Cam Skattebo.
2.
Arizona State. Gone. DJ Giddens.
3.
Kansas State. Gone. Devon Neal.
4.
Kansas. Gone. Taj Brooks. Texas Tech.
5.
Gone. Like, what other major teams are we missing with
from
running
the
backs?
Big 12?
From the Big 12.
Ollie Gordon.
Ollie Gordon.
Ollie Gordon.
The ghost of Ollie Gordon.
The ghost of Ollie Gordon.
Gone.
For sure.
The 6 best backs in this conference are all headed to the league.
Wow. Did not realize that. Like, I knew all those things individually. And
That's
then
why it's such a loaded running back class in my eyes.
Well, yeah, and then you have, Genty as well.
You have Judkins. You got some dog. There are some dogs.
Why did the Cardinals sign James Conner to an extension again? Now that we're talking about,
there are a lot of.
There's a lot of
these are
backs
that you are going to have to pay nothing for because they're all going to be on rookie deals.
Yeah, that's how you should treat running backs. I do love.
That's how you should treat
James
running
Conner.
back.
I mean, you should respect them as people and work them like dogs as rookies. I mean, that's just how you should build in the NFL. But we're not an NFL show. We're talking about Ismail Mahdi. Dog. Really hate that he's at Arizona.
Yeah.
We talked about this before the show. Arizona's offensive line is going to be a really big X factor here because Texas State, especially for the competition that they were playing, had a very good offensive line. We stole a big
Jamedo Bigbo.
Jamedo Bigbo. Maybe my favorite name on the team now. Jamedo Bigbo is a fantastic name.
It is for a 300-pounder up front.
To be called a Big Bo?
Yeah, no, he's a big boy. That's what he is.
A big boy is a big boy. A big bow is a big boy.
Yeah,
there we go. This is. I honestly, I think that there is an argument for him to be higher than 8. I do think that you have to take into account the team that he's going to, the impact he's going to have overall in the conference, and that is where it pushes him down for talent alone. And maybe I'm just really high on this guy because we saw him play, and we did a lot of research on him because he didn't have like the craziest stats last season. He had good stats.
Less than 1,000 yards on the ground, 991, but he only had 183 carries, so he averaged 5.4 yards a carry. And when we saw him against Arizona State, he was shifty. He is not a guy that just because he's smaller at 5'9" doesn't mean he goes down easier.
Right.
I think it's something we saw with Scat, right? He's a smaller running back, but because he is so low to the ground, low man wins in football, right? And Ismail Mahdi, again, I think is going to be a phenomenal addition to that Arizona team. I think, obviously, you try and alleviate some of the pressure that Noah Fafita is going to be under next season, and you do that with a talented running back like Ismail Mahdi.
I think 8 is good for him. I'm going to hate watching him play for Arizona because I genuinely like him.
I wanted him to come to Arizona.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I love, I love who we were able to add and retain in our running back room, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that Ismail Mahdi was on my radar as who could be the next running back one after Cam Skattebo.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that. Let's go ahead, keep on moving with number 7, Army running back Kanye Udoh, transferring to Arizona State from the Arizona running back edition to the Arizona State running back edition. Now, part of the reason why I put Kanye above Ismail Mahdi on this list is because of the impact, right? Because Cam Skattebo and the impact that he had at Arizona State, the Sun Devils desperately needed to replace that in the transfer portal. I know you're retaining Tyson Brown, Raleek Brown, McCaskill, Jason Brown Jr. I get that. The running back room is good, but you needed a guy that had proven that he can be a workhorse at this level. He did it at Army, less than 180 carries or less than 185 carries, and he had over 1,000 yards on the ground, 10 plus touchdowns. This guy is a proven running back that you stick him in a system like what Arizona State has, he can be the guy. Another guy that I think can be a top 3 back in this conference.
RBU.
And
you continue it. The reason why we put him above Ismail Mahdi is because he had a better season than Ismail Mahdi. He was a better player. Everything that we said about Ismail Mahdi is true, and we really liked him. I think Kanye is a better player. He is a more physical player, 6 foot, 215, like you mentioned, over 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns on the season, higher average yards per carry.
Bigger back.
For a better team.
Yeah.
So you look up Kanye Udoh on.
He was a 1,000-yard rusher at a 12-2 football team.
You look him up on YouTube, and the first thing that comes up is the next Cam Skattebo. And let's calm down a little bit.
Is that really what comes up?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say who it was, but yes, not true.
Maybe,
but maybe.
I
mean, no, I don't think you could ever replicate what Cam Skattebo did this season.
But what if he does? What if he does exactly what we're saying he can't do?
Then we need to start talking about Sean Iguano as a head coach in college football. Respectfully.
I think we'll have that conversation sooner than you think we will.
Oh, I do. I am maybe the biggest Iguano fan out there.
You're an Iguano believer?
I've been. I thought he should have. I don't think I was genuinely campaigning for him to be full-time head coach after his interim stint.
Well, I'm happy
glad that Kenny got it, but I'm biased. I covered him when he was at Chandler and he won championships when I was covering high school football.
Yeah.
So I think eventually down the line, if he's comfortable with, moving because he has family here and whatnot, I mean, I feel like Hawaii head football coach written all over him. But that's a conversation for a different day.
That is. I think Kanye Udoh is going to be such a phenomenal running back at Arizona State. I think he really fits the system, fits the mold of what Kenny Dillingham and Marcus Arroyo want to do. And you're, again, the same way we talked about the offensive line for Arizona being an impact and being an X factor for Ismail Mahdi. I think the Arizona State offensive line and the amount of guys returning to that Sun Devil front are going to be huge, literally, for Kanye to be able to slightly replicate what Scat did last season.
Better offensive line than Arizona. Yes. Better coaching staff than Arizona.
Better quarterback.
Better
than weapons.
And now another better running back. So
Absolutely.
I'm a fan. Sign me up.
Well, I think we will. I think we will sign you up.
Please do.
Look, just to recap, moves 10 through 7. Idaho wide receiver Jordyn Dwyer transferring to TCU was move number 10 on the list. USC running back Quinten Joyner transferring to Texas Tech was number 9. Texas State running back Ismail Mahdi transferring to Arizona was number 8. Army running back Kanye Udoh transferring to Arizona State was move number 7. We've got moves 6, 5, and 4 coming up on the other side of this break.
But let me tell you about move number 1. And that's grabbing yourself a neutral. We're almost at the weekend. Maybe it's an early weekend for you.
I'm so ready.
And if you need a seltzer that tastes good and is real, not just real good, but real. Simple ingredients, real ingredients, just vodka, seltzer, and real juice. None of this fake stuff, okay? None of this taking a sip and being like, that's not a flavor that should exist. No. They got fantastic flavors. Pineapple, watermelon, black cherry, orange, cranapple. They have a lemonade pack. They have a variety of flavors that I haven't even mentioned. So whatever your fancy is, you will fancy a neutral, light and refreshing. And it's so good, you'll never want to drink another one of those artificial tasting seltzers again. And nothing goes better with college sports, college basketball, college anything than neutral vodka seltzer. Keep it tasty. Enjoy responsibly. 2024 Anheuser-Busch Neutral is a flavored vodka and carbonation out of St. Louis, Missouri. And man, oh man, do we love our neutrals.
We do. We also love our friends over at Branded Bills. I know you celebrated National Hat Day yesterday the right way with your Branded Bills hat.
Following it up today.
And you're rocking another Branded Bills hat right there. And I love that because that is a different Branded Bills hat than all of the options that we have back here. We got a number of Branded Bills hats behind this Studio K sign. We got a couple more just literally littering the office in the best way possible. And I say this to show you just how many different styles, just how many different variations there are of Branded Bills caps, guys. Whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitteds, beanies, or tees, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. Whether you need a hat to go to work or you need a hat to hit the gym, Branded Bills, they got you covered with comfort, performance, and style. They also got partnerships with Arizona State University to do some charity work with U of A as a part of their campus collection. Head to brandedbills.com and use that code PHNX for 20% off your first order. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. A lot of people in the chat talking about our Big 12 championship show where you and I maybe have indulged just a tad.
Well, okay, so Sharon brought it up because I said that I've never committed any crimes, and she said that we stole a whiskey bottle. No.
I don't know if that's a crime, but I don't think it is legal to bring that on a plane. I don't think it's legal to bring an empty...
We didn't. We checked the bag.
You're right.
We didn't break any laws, dude.
You have broken laws before.
Never.
You have.
I
know specifically of a law that you've broken. I'm going to keep my mouth shut, but I know there is...
Here, whisper.
No. You don't want me to bring it up. It also, remember in college...
All right. I feel like if anybody says I've never broken a law, anybody, you just go, hey, remember in college?
Sat the way you wanted to like go down with that ship of like, I have not done it.
Oh, no, I'm obviously lying.
I did not hit.
I'm obviously lying.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're absolutely,
you're absolutely
yes.
lying. I mean, yes.
But I could call you on it, is what I'm saying.
Sure.
Is you could say that to 95% of people in this office.
Yeah, you say,
and
remember college?
They wouldn't have any idea what I'm talking about. I could tell you, hey, you remember that one time in college? Yeah, there's definitely
maybe that's a story time for our diehards.
Little PHNX Buffs action.
Oh, maybe
could be fun.
Maybe, but yeah, there was one of the DLS Cowboys guys was on the Cardinals show yesterday.
I saw that,
and they at the very end was like, "Shout out to your college guys for getting drunk in our studio." I mean, truly legacy building.
Do we want to play that clip? Can we download that? That way we could play it at some point. I know it's in our. We have it somewhere.
Of him talking about it. I thought you were talking about the clip that I clipped of us drunk singing "We Are the Champions."
That was also a very good.
I mean, genuinely, like, BS aside, that's probably going to be the most fun show that I ever do.
Unless we win the national championship at one point.
Well, when we win.
You're right. When we win the national championship. Yeah. Look, this was PHNX Cardinals the other day. They had someone from the DLL's Cowboys show on, and this is what he had to say about us.
Isha, it's just, we're excited to have you guys a part of the family, and thank you so much for your time.
Oh, no problem, man. And shout out to your college crew that came here and just came into our studios and got drunk and everything else doing the Big 12 championship.
Dude, the laugh is awesome. Shout out to Clarence Hill Jr. Been Cowboys writer since '97, All City for DLL.
Wow. That was the year I was born.
Congrats, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy. Great to me or to Clarence?
To you.
Yeah. I mean, first off, just shout out to everybody from DLLS for letting us use their studios.
Yeah, we did it wasn't like a hostile takeover. We didn't just show up and start drinking their whiskey.
No, we won. We won a chip.
We asked. We asked. We said, can we have some? Maybe we were a little liberal with the term some. But I even remember being in the show. We were halfway through. We're like, we're not going to drink all of this.
Whose fault is it? I think it's Kyle's fault that we got all the way through the bottle of through the bottle of whiskey.
Oh, no, it's your fault. It's so your fault.
You're not putting that on me.
Because you started doing this. I was pouring it like this. You started pouring them like this.
We won a championship. Come on now. What are we talking about?
Obviously, I'm all for it.
Like, let's go. Me and Kyle were.
I know what
we were all out till a late hour in the evening. Kyle, I mean, he was just hanging out at an aquarium at 2:30 in the morning outside of a bar. It was crazy. If you know, you know. Do you know what I'm talking about, Kyle?
He knows.
Let's move on.
Move number 6.
Move number 6. Do you want to go ahead and do this one?
No.
I'll let you do 6 through 4.
No, I want you to do it.
I want you to do it.
You don't know how to pronounce his name.
I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Yeah. I think it's
Jehiem Oatis.
Otis.
There you go. Transferring from Alabama to Colorado.
You're so funny, dude.
What do you want from me?
I would really love if you drove the show once we got to the name.
Just
I don't
to
know how
that
to
one.
pronounce.
You can just do that one. If you want.
You're such a fraud, dude.
6'5", 325 pounds. I believe he was one of, if not the number one player in the transfer portal this past offseason. He's a big dude, 6'5", 325 pounds. Again, anytime you can get an SEC defensive lineman and move him to the Big 12,
Yeah.
I think that obviously has a giant impact. Now, statistically, didn't do a ton last season, but regardless, I figure this guy to be an absolute force in the Big 12 this season.
Yeah, that's a big boy.
Yeah.
That's a big boy. You can't look at stats.
No.
For this one, you gotta look at size, projection coming out of high school. Some of the stuff that we look at for some of these high star guys that are transferring from SEC schools to Arizona State. This is somebody who can be a game breaker for Colorado, whether they have Dion or not.
Whether they have Dion or not. Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Are you good on this next one? Are you?
Yeah, I'm good on this next one. I'm good. I'm good all the way through.
You just wanted me to do.
I'm
Jehiem
good.
Oatis.
Yeah, I just wanted you.
You couldn't even try.
I tried to
Oatis?
pass you the baton, and you just absolutely just whacked it at me. I'm trying to win a race here, and you turned around.
slapped
you
that to the
slapped the
ground.
baton and then started running.
I said you keep.
You slapped the baton and then started
why don't you
running.
pick it up and
still.
start running,
Yeah,
huh?
it's so stupid, man. It's like I did my part of the race. It's your turn. That's what it was. Okay. Look, moving on to number 5. This is where things get interesting in my mind. Texas A&M quarterback Connor Weigman transferring to Houston. Former 4-star quarterback, started the year as the starter at A&M. Didn't necessarily go the way that he thought it would go, or the way that I imagine Texas A&M fans thought it would go. But ultimately, Houston gets an upgrade at a giant position of need. I am in the camp that firmly believes Houston is going to be an improved program this year.
Oh, I definitely think Houston's going to be an improved program. I'm wondering, since Captain Redbeard is an A&M boy, I'm wondering what your thoughts are on Connor and what he could maybe do at Houston.
I was so into ASU this season that I didn't even watch him. So,
Wow. So he sucks.
No report.
I mean, he didn't have great numbers, right?
819 yards, 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
Completed only 56% of his passes.
53.5 QBR. But hey, he's 6'3", 220. Looks good in shorts, so he must be one hell of a quarterback, huh?
That's what they say about Kyle. 6'3", 220.
They stutter because they're looking
sorry,
at
somebody
eyes.
needs to rechange my batteries. I need to. I'm running out of juice here. But he's played a good chunk of football, right? Not necessarily through season after season, but he played in 2022 at A&M. That's where things really got started going for him. Nearly 1,000 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, no INTs. His 2023 campaign, 979 yards, 8 touchdowns, 2 INTs. And then this past season at A&M just was not good. Not good
So
at
but
all.
you think he can help Houston?
I do. I still think that Weigman is an upgrade from what Houston had this past season. To get a former 4-star guy, right? Sometimes you just need to change the scenery. You need a new system. And for him to be able to have that opportunity to grow still in a major conference, I think is going to be huge for him. But I think a big part of his success at Houston is going to be can Willie Fritz really put the talent around?
Can Willie put the... Sorry. Well, it's like the ADHD brain right there.
Can Willie put the talent around Weigman? I think that is the question that needs to be answered. And if he can't, then I think Weigman's career is probably going to go out as a pretty sad one.
There's definitely... 5 is interesting because I think there's doom potential here more than any other player that we've listed so far. I think the floor for Weigman is much lower than anybody else we're going to talk about today or have talked about.
The floor?
The floor. Like the worst case scenario for him in Houston is
Not
ugly.
good.
Ugly.
Yeah.
But QBs, as I say, is the best case scenario. John says, how many wins does he add to Houston this coming season?
I don't know who Houston. Let me look up Houston's
schedule.
Well, the schedule doesn't come out for another couple of weeks.
But like who they play.
Yeah, I want to see their opponents in football for next season. Let's see if we can get that going here. Here we go. Future Houston football opponents. Okay. So for 2025, no,
I got it.
You have it.
Stephen F. Austin, Rice,
You should win.
Oregon State.
Ooh, in Corvallis.
Yeah.
You
Arizona
probably
State,
lose. You lose that game. You lose the ASU game.
At Baylor,
You
you're
lose
probably
that game.
losing. Arizona at home, you could win that game.
You could win that game.
Against the Buffs,
You probably lose
that game. Texas Tech at home.
Winnable game.
Yeah. TCU at home.
Winnable game.
West Virginia at home.
New coach there.
Oklahoma State.
I don't know
On
if
the
Oklahoma
road.
State's going to be good this year.
They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 5 straight. Oh, that's not in
Yeah,
order.
these
I
aren't
was
in
about to say, It's
order,
not
buddy.
5 straight home games. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah. UCF winnable game. Oklahoma State winnable game. As of right now. Like,
As
again,
of right now, obviously things drastically change.
What they had 3 wins this season. How many wins did Houston have? They had more than I think we thought they were going.
I think
to.
they finished with 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Was it 5? Did they
I
have
don't think it
5
was 5
wins?
because they ended up losing their end of the year game. No, what was it? Kansas State, right? Or BYU
BYU
was they needed that win. Or no, BYU really needed that win, and they needed some help. They were
1, 2,
a 4-win
they have 4.
team.
Yeah, they have 4 wins.
Yeah, so I think Weigman in a perfect scenario can make this team get this team to bowl eligibility.
5, 6 wins. Yeah, it's
I
definitely.
think
But I mean,
there's-
it's definitely possible. Yeah,
But it's a matter of again, is the talent around.
it could also be another 4-8 season or worse.
It could also, or worse.
If he sucks.
Moving on to number 4, keeping with quarterbacks here, New Mexico quarterback Devon Dampier transferring to Utah. First time we're not going to see somebody named Cam Rising for the Utes to start the season. Dampier, I think, is one of the more interesting prospects in all of college football in terms of QBs making a move this offseason.
Yeah.
And he's going to a program that, again, is headed into year 2 of this conference that had a bad year. That Utah had, objectively a really bad first year in the Big 12. Let's be real here. This guy could flip things back.
He could be a top QB in the Big 12.
5.
I was at 5. I think 5-4 is going to be.
He could be
around.
top 5, but I would say the top 3 are already solidified.
I don't disagree with that, but I think any time you come in and you could walk in as possibly a top 5, you could be a top 5 quarterback in a conference. He's going to be a pretty big difference maker, especially for a Utah team that is in desperate need. I mean, think about how immobile Cam Rising was, right, when he was out there, and how any of their other options also
Arizona
just sucked.
State sent Cam Rising
To the retirement
into
home.
retirement, dude.
Yeah. So I think that's fair. I think he's the best new quarterback. I think he'd be a top 5 quarterback, but he doesn't stack up to the top
The
3,
Giants.
the top 3,
At least not yet. You got to see what he can
And
do.
of course, you have to remember Sawyer Robertson.
Yeah, Sawyer
Always
Robertson's a
remember
dog.
Sawyer
Yeah.
Robertson.
Sawyer Robertson, he's a Baylor quarterback, right?
Come on, dude. Yes.
I just want to. There are things that you do, Erik, that I would love to just smack the absolute taste out of your mouth one time. And I know you do it right back to me. But
Harder.
I think there's a high chance on the 24-hour stream that we just
fight.
We
That's
just
why we need to have the therapist in house. And it's not that we don't like each other.
No.
It's just like like with our personalities and like we're both kind of dicks. Like it's just
We're both Nick Richards, ladies and gentlemen.
we both just kind of go like that sometimes. And
Yeah.
it works.
We clash.
It works, but sometimes we gotta be like,
It
I'm
works
gonna
for an
smack you.
hour.
I'm
It
gonna
works for
smack
an
you.
hour a day.
24. We talk for more than an hour a day. We're not one of those shows where like we walk in and the first time we speak to each other
Is here.
is this, and then
Yeah.
it's the end.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get too off the rails, let me get us back on the rails. We'll be back with our top 3 moves after this break. Whenever I want to smack Anthony Totri across his face,
My pretty little face.
I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say something mean. I take a second and I remember that I can get Colt cannabis at any True Leave locations. And it's Thursday, so Totri, even you know what that means. Deal day for our friends Colt Cannabis at your local neighborhood True Leave. 2 Colt jars for $70. That's $35 a jar. What a deal.
I stopped at True Leave last night.
Got yourself some Colt cannabis.
Some phenomenal stuff.
It is premium flower Colt cannabis. We love Colt, we love True Leave, and you can go over to trueleave.com to find your local dispensary and get these Colt jars before Anthony Totri buys them all and they run out. Of course, Kevin and I do PHNX Puffs, which is for diehards only, where we indulge in some Colt cannabis and go live and talk. So if you want to be a part of that, be a part of the Colt cannabis community, I highly recommend it. You will not regret it. And that's the Erik Ruby guarantee. Get over to trueleave.com, find your local shop or place an order, and make sure you tell them that Captain Redbeard sent you.
Captain Redbeard. Notice how he never says that Erik Ruby sent you. Look, all I'm saying is
Never broke the
sometimes
law.
you have days with coworkers, with friends, with family, that they just frustrate you. And you just need to put on your Shady Rays and block out the haters, block out all the bad vibes. And that's exactly what Shady Rays does. Not only do their shades block out the haters and the bad vibes, but they also block out the sun, which can be pretty intense in Arizona sometimes. Guys, get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends over at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that will not break the bank. Okay, they probably have a style in your team's favorite colors. I know we got a lot of Big 12 fans in here today, whether that be Arizona State, Arizona, Iowa State. It does not matter. I'm sure Shady Rays has something for you. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. How you doing, Ruby?
Oh, I just sent you a text telling you how I was feeling. I can't say it on air, though. But, whew, your boy's hungry.
You are hungry.
That's why I'm punchy.
Hungry boy?
Most of the days, like I was punchy the other day, most of the days that I'm punchy is just because I'm hungry, which is really funny because I want to go on Survivor. And I'm like, yeah, man, I would do great. And then, like, I miss a meal. Like, I'm 30 minutes late.
I had some great pasta for lunch.
I hate you.
Some really good pasta.
It smells so bad in this office, by the way, 'cause somebody microwaved their lunch.
It was not my lunch. My lunch was fire, and I ate it long before the stench crept through the office.
It was definitely a stench.
Would you agree with that, Kyle? It was stanky in the office.
It was, yeah.
And you know
the
what?
office could use Mando.
Yes.
Like as a whole.
Yeah. You can put it everywhere on our walls, the carpet, like a grundle, wherever.
Oh, goodness. Look, before we get into moves 1, 2, and 3, out of the moves that we've already gone through, which one do you feel like was maybe disrespected in where it's at on the list? Could be higher, could be lower.
Well, if it was lower, it wouldn't be disrespected. I think Weigman could have been lower.
You think it could be lower?
I just think because of the variance, and as far as like stats go, like clearly not like one of the worst statistical players that we've talked about so far.
Yeah.
Like Jehiem did not have a lot of stats, but you have a lot more to build off of and a lot more potential there. I would say him. Disrespectful. I mean, Dwyer had over 1,100 yards receiving, but it's hard to
played at Idaho.
Put him over 10 or 9. Maybe swap him and Joyner. But I feel like it's about right. I think you could have an argument that Kanye should be over Weigman and Mahdi should be over Weigman. So maybe we put Weigman down to 8. And then Ismail to 7, Kanye to 6, Oatis to 5, Dampier 4.
How do you feel about the last 3 that I have? Do you feel like those are all in order?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do.
You feel like they're all 3 the biggest moves?
So we probably shouldn't even talk about
the 3 biggest moves going down.
Because who even cares? They all know already.
Yeah, I'm curious. Drop what you guys think
top
are
3.
moves 3, 3, 2, and 1 in terms of importance. And we'll go ahead. We'll get into number 3 right now, and that is Kansas State quarterback Avery Johnson announcing his return for 2025. And now, initially, I had Jalen Daniels on this list, announcing that he's coming back for Kansas. And by the time that I did all of these different moves and got back to the fact that Jalen Daniels is not the only returning quarterback, I mean, Avery Johnson is one of the most fun young quarterbacks in college football. He's a dual threat guy. Obviously, Wildcat fans were disappointed with the way that the season ended, given kind of, where Avery Johnson had taken this team and DJ Giddens had taken this team for so long in 2024. It obviously, kind of spun out of control when they played Arizona State. But Avery Johnson is going to be, again, a top 3 quarterback in this conference. And I think the fact that he is coming back to Kansas State as opposed to going to a bigger school and maybe a bigger conference, I think, again, signals that this conference is better than most people give it credit for.
Especially at the quarterback position.
And I'm really excited to see Avery Johnson every single week as long as he's not playing Arizona State.
Yeah, it also one of those young quarterbacks that you went into this season kind of salivating at what could you be?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what could you grow into? And while it wasn't a perfect season, it was still a pretty dang good one.
It was. It absolutely was.
And you're thinking Kansas State probably isn't thrilled about where they ended the season. They were somebody that I think we expected to be competing for a Big 12 championship. So I think that they're going to go in with kind of a renewed sense of focus and determination to climb back to that top spot. He's going to be the spearhead of that, and I think he's talented enough to do it. It's a big move for him to come back.
I mean, he had 25 passing touchdowns along with 7 rushing touchdowns. So quick math on that, 32. Right, yeah, quick math. 32 total. 32 total touchdowns last season for the 9-4 Kansas State Wildcats. That is a really, really strong season with only 5 or 10 interceptions. He is, again, he's a quarterback that's growing and developing, and he's still pretty young. He's going to be a problem in this conference for sure.
Don't disagree.
Share in the chat. Do we play Kansas State this year? If you want to look,
I don't think so.
I don't think we play Kansas State this year. The official schedule should be released here in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, we'll be going live when that does occur.
January 31st?
Around January 30th, around that time. I don't think we play Kansas State.
No, we do not.
That's a dub.
We'll go through, just so people know, since you probably care about Arizona State. NAU, Mississippi State, Texas State, Arizona, Texas Tech, TCU, Houston, West Virginia, Baylor, Colorado, Iowa State, Utah.
I mean, it's a pretty favorable schedule.
Yeah, I mean, NAU, Mississippi State, Texas State, Arizona, Texas Tech, Houston, West Virginia. I think those are your
Iowa State,
win-ems.
Colorado are your tough games.
Those are your gotta win 'ems. I think Baylor could be good next year. Okay. If you're listening on audio, just know Chad's wildin'.
Yeah. Not Chad, just one person.
Individual chatter. Utah, Iowa State will be tough. Colorado will be tough, I think. Even if Deion's not there, they'll still have like the leftovers from Deion's talent unless there's a mass exodus.
I think if Deion leaves, there's a mass exodus.
There definitely could be. I think Baylor's going to be better next year. And I think TCU. I think TCU has a chance to be sneaky good in this conference next year. But I'm going to be honest with you. I think that an undefeated regular season's on the table, but that is a completely different conversation. Athlon
Sports, they just released their way too early top 25. Do you know where Arizona State was?
I don't actually.
Take a guess.
17.
13.
Let's go. Top 15 team in the country to
top
start
15 team in the country.
We'll end up being top 10. I'm calling that
at
now.
one point in the year.
I think we will consistently be top 15. I think for a majority of the time that we're in the top 15, we'll actually be in the top 10.
What a life.
This team's going to be damn good.
This team is going to be probably better than this past season.
Yeah. You'd hope, right?
Which is crazy to think. This team wins a college football playoff.
I mean, if this team regresses, I don't know where it comes from. I mean, this is a completely different conversation.
Scat,
no, but like, you miss Scat, but like, there's so many other, Anyway.
Yeah, look what you're doing. You're getting us off the rails.
Anyway.
Just because you're a hungry boy doesn't mean you get to throw the show off.
It does actually.
It doesn't. It does not mean
exactly what it means.
Let move number 2. Iowa State quarterback Rocco Becht announcing that he is going to return to the Cyclones in 2025. Obviously, Iowa State coming off one of, if not their best season in program history. I think it was their best season in program history, to be completely honest with you.
First time getting 10 wins.
And, it didn't end the way that they wanted it to, at least as it relates to trying to make the college football playoff. Now, Iowa State did beat the Hurricanes in their bowl game, but they got smacked around by Arizona State in the Big 12 title game. Rocco Becht, of course, it feels like there's maybe some unfinished business there.
He should get better. That's the thing. He should get better.
He
has been getting better over his career.
The thing is, they lost both their 1,000-yard receivers, both going to the NFL draft. So
how much that helped him in the championship.
Yeah, well, it's going to be, you need weapons for
tough.
Rocco.
I think it would be interesting. We got to look into what Iowa State has done as far as the receivers go, because it's really easy for a young quarterback to grow and to, get to the point that Rocco Becht got to, like when you throw for 3,500 yards, which is nuts.
Nuts for a college quarterback.
You have two receivers making up
3,500 yards.
Yeah, 3,500. We have two receivers that made up basically 2,400 of that.
Yeah.
And you're losing both. That's not a small deal. Again, Rocco Becht helped them.
No, that's the story of Iowa State next year. Is how do you replace those guys on the perimeter?
How do you replace Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins? Yeah, the Jays.
I mean, team.
That's 17 touchdowns.
Every team. Tell me every team doesn't have that same question, though, right?
You're losing. I mean, all the running backs that we listed.
Shador,
Travis. Arizona's keeping Brent Brennan.
That's their challenge. They kept their coach. Like every team has a challenge, right? Some of these.
What's Kansas State's challenge? They lose their running back?
Yeah, they lost DJ Giddens. He's gone. I think
he's good.
I think Kansas State's question is more so, can they?
I mean, yeah, Giddens had 1.3.
Can they go from?
Really good.
Can they go from being a really good team to being a great team? Can Avery Johnson take them from a 9-win team to a 10-11 win team? Can they be a conference champion? That's the question I think that Kansas State needs to answer.
Yeah, and Avery Johnson was their second leading rusher on the season.
Because think about it. Like, who did Kansas State? You remember who Kansas State's quarterback was? You probably don't, but
2 years ago?
2 years ago, before Avery Johnson, without looking.
No.
You know who it is, yeah? Will Howard.
Oh, it's right. Yeah, Will Howard.
Playing for a national championship in a few days, right? So imagine.
I forgot that he went to Kansas State.
Imagine, Avery Johnson was waiting in the wings. Imagine what that fan base is feeling, right? Your quarterback, that was your guy in this conference, left. Now he's playing in a national championship in a couple days. Now you have Avery Johnson. You had Avery, right? You will have had him for 2 full seasons. And you're like, okay, this is our guy. And then you don't go anywhere with Avery Johnson. Then I feel like that's the narrative around Kansas State for years to come, is like, hey, we've always had a quarterback. We just haven't been able to win the big game. That's the question for the Wildcats.
I like it. We were talking Rocco and I'm going back to Avery.
It is what it is.
More talk about this in our number one.
Our number one, Erik.
Number one.
Get high. After the break. Look, guys, PHNX is proud to have Sanderson Ford as our official vehicle partner. I don't know about you guys, but I am driving into the weekend. I am cruising into the weekend with all my worries.
Nobody's been more weekend ready than you,
and
pal.
all my problems in my rearview mirror, guys. Look, you guys could drive into 2025 in a new Ford from Sanderson Ford. Of course, it's a new year. So go get a new vehicle that's going to show off the new you in 2025. Take the whole family in style and save $11,000 off a new Expedition. Hit the trails or make your own in a new Bronco Badlands. Can we just take a second and appreciate the name there? Sick. A Bronco Badlands? Are you kidding me? Look, I'm a big Bronco guy. I love the Bronco, but I don't know if there's anybody in our office that looks the part more than Captain Redbeard. He just looks like he belongs in the driver's seat of a Bronco. It is what it is. For the best deals in 2025, choose Sanderson Ford for a no hassle, no pressure, and no nonsense experience, and get more for your trade with easy on-the-spot financing. Drive into the new year in a new Ford from Arizona's most awarded Ford dealership, Sanderson Ford.
Question for you. Do you enjoy candy?
I like candy.
Do you enjoy getting high?
I do.
Well, then Pure Edibles is the perfect company for you. They are genuinely a candy company, but they're also available at 130 dispensaries.
130?
Pure Gummies, not covered in sugar like other competitors. They just taste good. They have Gummies, Kicks, which is their version of Starburst, Chews, which is like soft candies, like a caramel, and hard candies as well. Pure's effects are clearly listed on each tin, so you know exactly what effects to expect. They offer for sleep support, which I use religiously. Like, I'm so bad at sleeping, and it has actually helped me be better at work and keeping track of things, is being able to get genuine good sleep. They use CBD, CBG, CBN. Get yourself some Pure
All
Edibles
the
products
CBs.
from one of the over 130 dispensaries in Arizona. Pure Edibles.
Pure edibles.
Pure.
Before we get into move number 1, I feel like we should, let the people just wait for a second.
Just let it
really
sit.
just let it hang, let it marinate. All good food needs to marinate in some sauce.
It's been marinating for about 50 minutes now.
Yeah. I mean, what's another 2? You want to make sure
You
want to
go 2 minutes.
You want to make sure it's done and
Okay.
it's good and it's
Extra
juicy.
tender.
It's extra.
This take's falling off the bone.
That's exactly what you want. And I know you're hungry, so.
I'm so
Oh goodness, how are you, Captain Redbeard? I feel like we haven't chatted with you much today.
Oh, I'm good. I'm steering the ship.
You steering the ship?
Yep.
Anything land ho or anything in front of us?
No, we're just riding along.
We're dead in
like that lo-fi girl on YouTube. Like that's just us. That's just us right now.
just cruising.
Yeah.
I did not expect us to be compared to the lo-fi girl. Yeah.
Really, that's exactly where I thought we were going.
Yeah,
today.
all right.
Any plans for the weekend, boys? Anything?
I just got a text. I'm gonna meet up with somebody tomorrow to celebrate their birthday. Tomorrow night.
Who?
You don't need to know.
Show me.
No.
Come on.
Actually, you might know.
Let me
them.
see.
They went to Cronkite. My roommate from freshman year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't think
wanna
you've
memorize
ever
all that
met him.
information and tweet it out a little bit later.
No, I'm sure he would love that. He
Yeah.
loves people.
Yeah. John in the chat saying, I love to be dramatic.
Oh, dude. Yes, you do. Oh, shut up. I love being dramatic. So, yes, you absolutely love being
Look how dramatic that was. That was like, I didn't even say anything. I read the comment, didn't say a word.
You were getting, I
and
know
Erik
you.
just rambled for 30 seconds about how I'm dramatic. And that was dramatic.
I'm the most dramatic probably at all city, right? Like I'm a drama queen. But
I'm a drama queen.
but
Clip that.
But you,
Clip that,
that's
please.
funny. Yeah, you should definitely clip that. You should definitely keep that as a drop. That's really funny. I just ran about something stupid and I'm a drama queen. Donald's gonna eat me alive for that.
God.
He's gonna eat me alive for that.
Yeah.
I just knew you were gonna deny it. Like I felt it.
I
in my
didn't say
bones.
anything.
You went, which usually what you say before you deny things.
Do you want to get to move number 1?
It's been 2 minutes.
It's been 2
We
minutes.
filled the 2 minutes.
Oh, goodness. Let's go ahead. There's technically a 1A and a 1B here. Sam Leavitt and Jordyn Tyson returning to Arizona State is the number 1 move in the Big 12 so far this offseason. QB1 and wide receiver 1. 2 of the best players in the entire conference. 2 guys that I would anticipate are going to be on several award watch lists to start the season, whether we're talking about the Heisman for Sam Leavitt or the Biletnikoff for Jordyn Tyson. These 2 are certainly the most impactful players to come back to their respective teams in the Big 12. And Erik, off of, a magical season, they can do so much more in 2025.
They would both be number 1 in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Alone.
Individually, yeah.
Yeah. Together, they're like super number 1.
They're
1 times 1.
They're 0?
1.
1 times 1 is 0.
That's not true. 1 to the power of 1 is 0. Oh God, we're not doing this, are we?
No, you're right. 1 times 1 is 1.
You did not. You did not think.
1 times 0 is 0. There you go. Come on, man. It was a joke. Look, we're so ready.
Hit
The
that like
sad
button.
part is it was absolutely unequivocally not a joke.
Not a joke. Not a joke.
He Googled it.
I'm not good at math. What do you want from me?
Dude, 1 times 1 is
Yeah.
not even
You know the last
math.
time I did multiplication?
1 times 1, Totri? You can't get your way out of this. Anyway, speaking
Stop
of
being dramatic.
Speaking of the ones, Jordyn Tyson has an argument to where he could maybe be the best player in the Big 12 next season, not just receiver. Sam Leavitt has an argument to be the best player in the Big 12 next season, not just quarterback. We're talking both sides of the ball, right? To do that at any major level. To be in contention for best player in your conference means you're in contention for best player in the country, which means Sam Leavitt, Heisman, like you mentioned, Biletnikoff. Like these are realistic, tangible things that these players should be in the running for.
Mhm.
That is something no other team in the Big 12 can boast, especially from returning players.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Tyson's coming off a 1,100-yard season with 10 touchdowns, 75 catches, and he missed the 2 games at the end of the season when Sam Leavitt and him had the best chemistry of any quarterback wide receiver in the playoff.
If he played, what would his final stats be? So right now, 75
he would
receptions,
probably have about
1,100.
90 catches. I would anticipate about 90 catches, probably about 1,250 receiving yards, and 12 touchdowns.
He missed just the Iowa State game.
Iowa State and Texas.
For some reason, I thought he missed.
So, yeah, I'd say about 90 catches, 1,250 receiving yards, 12 touchdowns. Feels about right.
It's not bad.
It's almost right on the money.
That's not bad. That's not bad. No, I can't help but get excited about those two. And also the fact that, like, when you talk about all these other moves and how they come in, like, context for other things, like Ismail Mahdi.
Yeah.
Over at Arizona.
Yeah, you really like oomph on his name. You really put the Ismail.
Ismail.
Yeah.
Him,
Ismail.
Jehiem Oatis, Otis, who's my cousin to Rubis.
Otis, your cousin.
Professor Oates.
With,
it's the combination of Rubis and Professor Oates.
I want everybody to go look
Jehiem
up
Oatis.
Jehiem Oatis.
Everybody let me know if
Spitting
I look
image
like
of
Jehiem.
Eric Ruby, by the way.
Oh my gosh, wait.
Can we get a leave a like?
Hold up.
There we go. It's on the screen.
Hold up. I'm going to send this in. I'm going to send this to production, Kyle. Put this up on air.
Dear God.
We're gonna do it.
What is the end of the show?
We're gonna do it. Okay, we're gonna put this up because if I look like Jehiem Oatis, this tweet is perfect. We are so off the rails.
You got us here. Jordan Tyson means so much to
We'll
come
play
back.
at the very end of the show.
Sam Leavitt also coming back too. Again, a guy that threw for nearly 3,000 yards, 24 passing touchdowns, 6 INTs. Improved his value on the ground as well, right? What he was able to do running the football, I think, is going to be imperative to this team's success next season as well.
And for somebody who got better over the season, now you get an off season, and then you also get, this season to develop chemistry. Should we put this on the screen?
Let's give it a couple minutes.
Let's think. I'm gonna have to think about it.
We can put it up there.
Yeah. Can we?
Yeah, I don't see what the problem is.
I just want to make sure. Somebody said, Sharon said, put up the blind mouse photo next to Otis.
Yeah, that needs to be leave a like.
What a show.
Yeah.
So the 10 in order.
Go ahead. You could do the
Jordan
10.
Dwyer, Idaho wide receiver transferring to TCU, coming in at 10. Number 9, USC running back Quinten Joyner transfers to Texas Tech. Number 8, Texas State running back Ismail Mahdi transfers to Arizona. Number 7, Army running back Kanye Udoh transfers to Arizona State. Number 6, Alabama defensive lineman Jehiem Oatis, a.k.a. my brother, transfers to Colorado. Number 5, Texas A&M QB Connor Weigman transfers to Houston. Number 4, New Mexico QB Devon Dampier transfers to Utah. Number 3, Kansas State QB Avery Johnson returns for 2025. Number 2, Iowa State QB Rocco Becht returns for 2025. And of course, the number ones. They would be individually, but also together. Arizona State. Put some emphasis on it. Arizona State. QB Sam Leavitt and wide receiver Jordan Tyson announced their return for 2025.
Love that. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. You have something for us?
I'm not going to read this out loud.
Why not?
Just me and Jehiem Oatis. Let's just put this up.
So is this supposed to be you?
No, I think this was just funny. I just saw this and I thought it was funny.
How can you not read it though? You got to read it.
College Football 25 be having white running backs named Tyshawn Cromartie and black quarterbacks named Sergeant Hugo Stiglitz. And then somebody co-cheated it with a picture that says athlete Legarius Lacombo, and it's just some white dude with wavy hair.
That's you. You're Legarius Lacombo.
Legarius Lacombo.
New nickname just dropped.
That's a tongue twister right
Legarius Lacombo.
That's a tongue twister right there.
That's a tough one to have, man. That's a tough one to have.
Legarius
Lacombo.
That's a great name.
That's your new name, LL Cool J.
That's good.
Oh, goodness.
On that note,
yeah, I will see you on Saturday for an ASU basketball postgame show.
Sorry, everybody.
Jose Perez has to go do Jose Perez things.
Has to do the Sun show.
Yeah, he's got things to do.
Sorry.
But, me and Captain Redbeard will be holding down the ship. It should be a stormy afternoon for ASU basketball. So I think that's it. I think that's all we got. If you enjoyed the
That should
content, give us a
definitely be all that we
follow.
have.
Give us a follow at PHNX _Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow the Jarius Lacumbo here at Erik Ruby. That is Erik with a K. And you can follow Captain Redbeard at K Coop Sports on social. I will see you on Saturday. But as always, go Devils. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.